In this video, I will be showing you the basic things you need to know when raising Homestead goats. I will also be going into detail of the essentials later in the video. Stay tuned until the end to discuss a goat's fencing requirements. So this is our sweet feed barrel, and there's some grains in here, there's some corn. You could usually smell molasses if you weren't just watching this as a video. We get this from our local feed store. And our goats like it as a supplement. In the winter, we feed it to them 2 times a day because forage is harder to find. But in the summertime, early fall, like now, we like to give it to them once a day just as treats. So I'm gonna bring some with and I'll show you what we do with them. So these are the spools that are featured on my t-shirt. By the way, this t-shirt is available on our Teespring site. Hey, Bobby. So this is what we do during the summertime for our goats. We just give it to them as treats. Some of them will actually eat it out of our hands. Okay, so we only got this barn built for us last year, and our goats kind of hung out in those stalls. We did a video last year of why Nigerian goats make the funny pets, and you can find that in the link above. And before that, we had no barn, but we had pallets. So all we had to do was connect them. We have a 2x4 in there, and they stayed in these for a good 1.5 years. We've got some galvanized metal and some tarps in the back. So my mom made this. We have a baking soda compartment, a blank one for when the time comes that we need an additional supplement, and we have our loose goat minerals in this one. So basic things you need to know about goats, especially with their diet, is that goats can be picky. Think about if you were at a banquet and there were little kids who are allowed to get whatever they wanted from the table at whatever time. They're going to go for the dessert first, right? If you have a pasture that's too big, goats are going to do the exact same thing. Not so much that they're going to eat the other stuff later, but they're going to overgraze the stuff that they like, and the stuff that they don't like they're going to leave alone, which makes them not want to be in the pasture, which can make them try to break out to find the stuff that they do want. So keep in mind that you need to limit what they have so that there's other pastures for them to go to. A lot of people do alternating pastures, which is just dividing the pasture up and putting them in different pastures as the grass gets shorter. Mild violence with interacting with goats is normal. When we first got our goats, they liked to headbutt each other, even off the spools, which kind of scared me. Well, it turns out they're just having fun with each other. So if you see them headbutting, even if they seem like they're hurting each other, they're really just trying to pass the time. Goats have rumens. The top part is for gases. The middle part is for their recently eaten hay, and the bottom is for their grain, fluids, and yesterday's hay. If you follow this track towards the back of the goat, there is an abomasum. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. And that basically corresponds to the normal stomach on horses, humans, basically all non-ruminants have one stomach, and this abomasum corresponds to that. It breaks down yesterday's hay into grain, takes out the nutrients it needs. This is basically just, the rumen is basically just a filter to help separate. So next we have the forage. Remember how I brought up earlier that if the pasture is too big, they're going to take what they want first? Goats are usually very good at ignoring the stuff that they don't want, but some stuff is bad for them, and sometimes they don't know. Milkweed, oak, wilted wild cherry, and rhubarb are just a few of the things that goats are allergic to that can actually harm the goat. Alfalfa, which is usually a very common supplement, grain, hay for horses and cows, is also good for goats, but if you're growing it, temperature can make it undergo a chemical change which can make it toxic to goats through nitrate poisoning. Goats, like a lot of animals, convert nitrates to nitrites, and if there's an overload of nitrates, they're going to get really sick. Goats need minerals. A salt block or some goat mineral supplement can be very helpful for making sure the goats have everything they need. So for copper supplement, we use this Mana Pro goat mineral, and I just usually hide it so that the goats can't take everything, because most of the stuff in here they only need a little bit of. We give this to them when they need it, and it seems to do pretty well with them. Additionally, we also have free range salt blocks. So this one was just a billy block that we got at Tractor Supply. This holder we got separately. It's actually really helpful for them. This one was a salt block that we got at our local feed store. It's for horses. The goats like it, the cows like it, the horse loves it. So we just let them go for that, and it's actually really helping them. Like we noticed with most of our goats, the tail issue is going away. And a common problem in our herd is that if you look at their tails, it's almost like a fish tail, and you can see a bald spot at the tip of their tail. That is an indicator that they need copper. We fix this problem by using a salt block or goat mineral. However, if you're keeping your goats with sheep, you need to have them in a separate place where only they can get to their salt block, because copper is actually toxic to sheep. Another serious issue with goat farmers is scours in goat kids. Some farmers like to bottle feed their kids, which is good to make them friendly, and others pan feed them. So if you think about it, when a baby goat is milking from its mom, it's usually facing up. The milk goes past a slit in the esophagus and goes straight here to the omasum. Here it is mixed with digestive fluids and is passed on to the abomasum, where it's digested. However, if you're pan feeding, it's going to go through the esophagus and miss the slit, leading it to the first two portions of the stomach where it doesn't belong. Newborn goat kids aren't eating forage yet, so milk is the only thing that they're consuming. Gas forms and scours occur. Scours can be treated with electrolytes. We have some in the emergency stash in our barn, but if you're not watching for it, it can kill the stomach, which can eventually kill the newborn goat. So when you're bottle feeding, always make sure that the bottle is higher than the goat's head. Finally, we want to discuss fencing. Now, we've had goats for about 3 years now, and fencing has been our biggest issue. Goats are, what's a nice way to put it? Notorious escape artists. They're basically the Houdini of the goat world. It has to be sturdy, at least 4 feet tall or more, so that's about here or taller. I'm only 5'2", so that's not a huge difference. The posts should be on the outside of the fence, every 6 to 8 feet apart. If you go even further, somehow these amazing little artists managed to get under the fence and freak out our neighbors. Okay, so this is the fence I was talking about. We have the T-posts on the outside. We have it as low as we can get. We have wire here, here, and there used to be one at the top. So if you're pushing on it, this is going to have some resistance. And this fence has been here for years. We've done a lot of improvements with it, such as reducing T-post span to 8 feet or less, using wire clips instead of zip ties, and using 3 clips per post. And now it's a goat-proof fence. If we go somewhere else that isn't as developed, sometimes you can lift the fence up, and that's how you know you need another T-post. Like, I can't do it very much on here. You definitely can't fit a baby goat. Therefore, you don't need to worry about it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you get to have your own fun adventures with these little adorable goats of your own. Our source was Story's Guide to Raising Dairy Goats by Jay Bellinger and S.T. Breedison. Hey there, we're the Vineyard Chicks, and we'd really like to thank you for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and tell us by clicking like. If you have any questions, comments, or recommendations for other videos, go ahead and leave them below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Thank you so much!